Welcome back. I'm George Abernathy, the proud president of FreightWaves. Welcome back to the initial Global Trade Tech Virtual Conference presented by American Shipper. I'm thrilled with all of the content that we've been able to provide you so far, and what you're looking forward to over the next 20 to 25 minutes is going to take it up to even another level. I'm going to be pleased to be joined now by Mario Harik. Mario is the Chief Information Officer of XPO. Mario, my old friend, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us on, George.
Let me do a little bit of table setting for everybody about Mario and about XPO. I'm pretty sure that many of you know Mario already, and I'm pretty sure that most of you know about XPO, but let's table set real quickly. Mario leads the design and implementation of XPO's integrated technology infrastructure and systems across the company's service range. That service range includes contract, reverse and engineered logistics, the e-commerce supply chain, last mile logistics, brokered, owned, and managed freight transportation, and freight forwarding. XPO's global tech organization focuses on 4 areas of innovation: the digital freight marketplace, automation and intelligent machines, dynamic data science, and visibility and customer service. Mario's got quite a job and does quite a job. Let me talk to you just quickly about XPO Logistics. XPO Logistics, Inc., which is traded on the NYSE under the ticker XPO, is a top 10 global provider of cutting-edge supply chain solutions to the most successful companies in the world. The company operates as a highly integrated network of people, technology, and physical assets in 30 countries with over 1,500, I believe 1,506 locations, and approximately 100,000 employees and 50,000 customers. So who better to be able to speak about global trade technology than Mario Harik? Mario, let's get to it. This is going to be really exciting. So let's level set a little bit about the overall marketplace. XPO is obviously one of the largest facilitators in e-commerce, including heavy goods that have examples like IKEA and Peloton. How has the consumer demand shifted in terms of online versus brick and mortars from XPO's perspective?
Yeah, so e-commerce has been the consumer story for the last 15 years. And we've seen with the pandemic, with COVID, an acceleration of the growth of e-commerce across many of the geographies where we operate in that was unseen before in terms of the overall scale of that growth. And today we're the largest e-commerce fulfiller in Western Europe, one of the largest here in North America. So we get to see those trends directly from the customers that we service. And we actually, with the pandemic, we did a survey for our customers. So these are consumers that actually buy things online. And what we saw was pretty fascinating, where 94% of all the people who responded are more likely to buy something online than they had been in a pre-pandemic setup. And we also saw a big shift in terms of the type of products that they are buying. So areas like grocery or apparel or personal care or healthcare type products that were more common for people to buy in a brick and mortar store as opposed to doing it online, that had shifted quite a bit through the COVID pandemic. And what's also interesting is since, as you said, we are the largest last mile delivery company for heavy goods here in North America, we also have seen through that survey that 55% of those who responded have started a do-it-yourself type project since the onset of the pandemic. So this is where they're setting up a home office, a home gym, so some sort of setup where they need obviously a heavy good to be deployed and delivered over to their home. But the common trend, though, that we see with the e-commerce growth, that what consumer wants really are a couple of things. One's around speed, so getting that product same day or next day or actually within a couple of days, but also in terms of availability of the products that they are looking to buy. So with that shift of demand on different types of inventory or SKUs from our customers, the consumers have, again, shifted that demand that meant that the providers or our customers needed to make sure that they have availability of that inventory. And all of that was driven, again, through what we have seen in a very short period of time with the COVID pandemic.
That's really so interesting, and I think puts into great perspective what's happened so far and what you've seen happening from the COVID-19 impact on the e-commerce versus bricks and mortar. And I'm sure that my beautiful wife wishes that I had done a few more do-it-yourself projects, but that's still available to us. But COVID's been with us now for about 6 months, Mario. Let's do a little crystal balling early on here. What's your outlook for XPO for the rest of 2020 and next year with regards to the impact that COVID being a little bit more in our rearview mirror could have on the balance of the year, and maybe put in the perspective of we're not going to see a Black Friday like we've seen before. How do you expect that to impact these various supply chain networks?
Yeah, overall, we're very upbeat about the post-pandemic recovery. And we are very upbeat for a few reasons. And a lot of it goes back to logistics as being a critical service that we offer our customers in terms of them being able to fulfill, for example, to an increase in demand for e-commerce if you're a retailer. And now there was short-term pain, no doubt about it, and that impacted us, a lot of us personally, and obviously a lot of businesses around the globe. But we have seen a very steady recovery. So what we have seen through our customers' supply chains, the bottom of the impact of the pandemic was during the month of April. We saw that impact originally in the West Coast in the US, through shipments coming in from China, and in the Western Europe, then eventually the US. But really the bottom of it was during the month of April. And we have seen a steady improvement since April in terms of supply chains having more and more product being going through it, and in terms of the demand of customers and consumers to these type of services. Now, also some sectors will take longer. When you think about the industrials or the auto type sectors, these will take a bit longer than say retail, where a lot of that growth is now shifted from it being a brick and mortar store type growth to it being focused on e-commerce growth for retailers. So again, we're bulls around the overall market and where things are going, given the services we offer our customers. Now, in terms of our customers, these are, we service today 70% of the Fortune 100 companies. And for these type of companies, they want more flexibility and they're looking for more outsourcing for their supply chains. The main reason being with a disruption like COVID, you want to make sure that you have the flexibility to overall de-risk your supply chain. They want to have faster supply chains. Again, if you're a consumer and you buy a product online, you don't want to wait 2 weeks or a week for that product. You want to get it same day or next day. So the speed of the supply chain is becoming more and more important in a post-pandemic world. And then finally, the expansion of e-commerce that we already discussed is the third area that we see a lot of demand in. And being a technologist, technology is in the middle of making these things happen. The way you can execute on a faster supply chain, on a more efficient supply chain, is through the use of technology. And we've built a lot of great proprietary technology to support the services we offer our customers.
So you talked about a couple of the business demands that have been COVID specific, and XPO with the remarkable portfolio that you have played such an integral role of integrating. Do you see, you talk about the faster supply chain and all, what trend do you see that really occurred during the business demands of COVID-19 that will continue on in the future?
So the first one obviously is e-commerce. We already kind of covered that, but tied to the consumer demand that is heightening in e-commerce, that's a trend that will continue to even in a post-pandemic environment where more and more people are getting used to buying categories of products they never bought online before. So for example, if you never used to buy your groceries online, but you have done it for 3, 4, 5 months through the COVID pandemic, there's a high likelihood you're going to continue that type of behavior in a post-pandemic world. And this also expands to other areas like apparel or fashion, where it was more common for people to buy these type of products in a physical store as opposed to online. So the e-commerce trend will be here with us for the long run in terms of continuing to grow post-pandemic. The second area that we see a lot of, which is closely related to e-commerce, is reverse logistics. So today, as a company, we handle more than 200 million units per year of inventory or product returns from consumers or companies that they want to take those products back into their supply chain. And typically with e-commerce, your average return rate is north than 20% on an average basis. Versus if you look at a brick and mortar operation, your average return rate is usually 8 to 10%. So suddenly the reverse logistics operation becomes much more important and much more, it has to be much more efficient in terms of either recovering the product, disposing of the product, recycling it. And technology can help a lot with that, being able to make sure that this part of the supply chain is operating as efficiently as possible. And the third area of a trend that we continue to see, now working in technology and logistics, we get to see that every day, but it's the demand of customers for innovative solutions, of speed, nimbleness, agility, and really being innovative and quick on your feet and responding to either challenges in the supply chain or new demands in the supply chain. And to give you a couple of examples, through the COVID pandemic, one of our key technology platforms is XPO Connect, which is our digital freight marketplace. This is where customers can log in online, they can book shipments, price them, track them, and then carriers can use either our Drive app or the system to be able to procure the freight all electronically in automated ways. And on that platform, within a month of the COVID pandemic, we had launched a COVID-19 dashboard that allowed our customers to see the impact of the pandemic on infrastructure, municipalities, airports that could impact their supply chain from a self-service perspective, just on the tool. Another example, in our last mile business, today we do more than 10 million deliveries where we cross a person's home threshold. We go to somebody's home to either install a couch or a fridge. And we launched contactless capabilities. So as opposed to a contract carrier handing their own device to a customer to sign and take receipt of the delivery, they can actually do it on their own device. And we did these things in record time. So when it comes to customers being able to react quickly, being able to change their supply chain, being able to add capacity, are all trends that we will continue to see in the post-pandemic as well.
So the next phase of your investment, as you're thinking about the nimbleness that you've brought during the pandemic, so as you describe a scorecard and capabilities that your customers have to deal with this, where is XPO turning now as far as investing in technology? Where are you seeing that move? And I guess as you talk about last mile, you guys are, you're involved literally, from beginning to end. As you're investing in technology, are there investments inside the warehouse that you're also looking at? I'm really fascinated to see where you're thinking your dollars are going to be spent and where your efforts are going to be going post-pandemic.
Well, the technology has always been part of our DNA from the early days of the company. And that's the reason why we spend roughly $500 million a year on the proprietary systems that we offer our customers to run their supply chains or have them run their supply chains. And when we break it out, there are really four broad categories that we focus on. And the first one is around data science, machine learning, and AI, where if you're in logistics, you're very much in the data business. You're collecting data in terms of inventories, in terms of where product is going, where product is coming from, transportation moves with trucks and availability of trucks. So that's the first big area of focus for us. And to give you a couple of examples, we spoke earlier about the inventory management, where we, as a company, we don't own the inventory, but we help our customers figure out how much inventory do they need. So we use machine learning to look at consumer purchasing trends and be able to predict how many inventory units you need out of each SKU that you have and where you need to position that inventory so you can have the most optimal supply chain possible. Another example is in our less than truckload business, where we operate today more than 8,000 routes of pickup and delivery every day, and using machine learning so we can predict how much time every stop is going to take. We call it dwell time, and being able to optimize the sequencing so our drivers have the best route possible to be able to meet the customer expectations, but also have the most efficient route possible. And all of these are examples of how we use data science and machine learning to be able to optimize our operation. The second broad area is around our XPO Connect freight marketplace. We believe that the world of transportation is going to be automated over time, that shippers will use platforms or have their systems talking to our APIs, to our systems, to be able to price, book, manage shipments, track shipments, and get full end-to-end visibility of these shipments across the board. And we believe that this platform is going to enable our shippers to be more efficient, but also give our carriers the ability to make their fleets much more productive in how they operate their business every day. And the third area is around that visibility. So using devices that we have deployed in the trucks, the handheld devices, mobility, to really give customers end-to-end visibility on their supply chain so they know where the bottlenecks are and they know what they need to optimize. And the fourth area, the one that kind of you ask more details on, is around warehouse automation. Because we believe that the warehouses of the future will be more and more automated in how they operate. We spoke about e-commerce as an example. When we suddenly go from shipping cases or pallets of goods to a store to shipping individual units of product to a consumer, you need to have a much more efficient warehouse. And this is where deploying warehouse automation and robotics really help us deliver on those type of capabilities for our customers. Now, specifically on automation, the first area is really what we call collaborative robots or cobots. And think of these as being autonomous robots that can work with our workers in the warehouses to make them twice as efficient, where they can go autonomously to a picking location, and then they can go autonomously once the picking mission is done, all the way to packaging, where they reduce walking time, they make the job safer, they make our people more efficient. The second broad area is around what we call goods-to-person robotics. And this is really great application for e-commerce. But think of a robotic solution where the picker in a warehouse is actually stationary, and then you have robots that bring shelves of product to a stationary picker, where the picker can then pick those products, scan them, validate them, and then put them in a bin for packaging, where eventually that product goes to a consumer. And we see 4 to 5 times the productivity improvement when we launch this type of technology in a warehouse. And then finally, areas like robotic arms that can do picking or product customizations. We're also deploying more and more of these for our customer operations, where we can customize a portion of how the warehouse operates for a given customer. But again, we believe that automation helps the warehouses be more efficient, meet quality standards, improve employee safety, because effectively you have to walk less, you have to interact less, and you're more stationary as a picker, as an example. So it's a win-win all across the deployments where we do this, where we deploy these type of technologies.
We've had so much discussion over the last 3 to 5 years around AI and machine learning. To hear that you're actually putting it into action, that XPO is really delivering on that is really exciting, because there's been so much conversation around it that I think has been a little hollow in what the deliverable has been, but it certainly is obvious that XPO is delivering on those promises today. So let me hone down, as we talked about e-commerce, let me hone down on a certain customer type of yours. You have a large cachet of customers that are Fortune 500 retailers. What specifically would a Fortune 500 retailer be looking for from XPO to deliver for their benefit?
Well, retailers and a lot of our other customers have gained a lot of appreciation in the help we can bring to de-risk their supply chain. So when you think about the COVID pandemic and suddenly demand for certain products has significantly increased and demand for other products have gone down, being able to have your supply chain respond to such changes, meet your customers' demand, and doing it in an effective way has been a big value for our customers. They also value large, financially stable companies that can weather a pandemic like COVID or a disruption like COVID, and having access to capacity. To give you an example, our XPO Connect Freight Marketplace has more than 60,000 carriers. And these are the companies that our customers can tap into to help move their freight from a full truckload perspective. And similarly, we have access to real estate, to robotic solutions and automations, where we can help our customers pop up a new warehouse or respond to a demand in a given market in a much more nimble way. So again, a lot of our retailers as well that have been more focused on brick and mortar are looking now to grow significantly their omni-channel or e-commerce operations. So being able to tap into our capabilities to help them onboard or start up these operations or expand them in some cases has been very important as well. Now, in terms of the smaller players, even the small and mid-sized retailers that have been predominantly, or a lot of them had focused on brick and mortar, also had this need to move more towards the e-commerce or omnichannel distribution type setups, where we all obviously, as a company, we could help them flex that up. And one of our offering, by the way, is XPO Direct, where this is a shared space distribution network of facilities where we have a number of warehouses that cover all of North America, as well as 85 last mile hubs that allow us to do last mile deliveries for heavy goods, which was also an increasing trend in demand through the COVID pandemic. And this would allow our customer to flex up the amount of capacity they have for fulfillment through one of our offerings as well. So again, a lot of it was around de-risking the supply chain. It was figuring out how they can respond to a much higher demand of e-commerce and switching from more brick and mortar volumes to more e-com volumes in their supply chains.
Well, sadly, our time together is going to be coming to an end here quickly. So I want to sort of give you the platform because your enthusiasm is infectious. Your enthusiasm for the technology that you and your team are delivering to your customers is infectious. So you've got me excited. So I'm going to ask you, what in the future, what has you excited about in the future and as you're looking ahead?
Looking ahead, that's a great question, George. And being a technologist in logistics is really outstanding because you get to deploy technology that changes how companies operate, how product goes to people's homes, how we actually go about living every day, and being able to deploy technology in the real physical world that can have a true impact is it's incredibly exciting to be a part of. And I get the pleasure to lead a team of 1,700 technologists that are truly some of the best and brightest in our industry to deliver on these services. But in terms of solutions, I really break it down. The top three on my list are, the first one I mentioned, data science and AI and machine learning. I was recently in a fireside chat at a CB Insights event where Mark Cuban was a speaker before me. And he said the future of business is going to be AI haves and AI have-nots. And I believe that the use of data has a major impact on how we can deliver service and optimize supply chains around the globe. The second broad category, I mentioned it earlier, is our XPO Connect digital freight marketplace. I think the world of transportation is going to be more and more efficient, where customers will be able to book more and more of their shipments across multiple modes in fully automated ways and be able to leverage the best capacity providers, the best carriers to provide the right service, where it's really a win-win for both customers and carriers being able to use our platform and help automate the transaction flow. And the third one is around warehouse automation, where when you look at the flow of goods, the speed of supply chains, the need for quality, all of that leads back to robotics and advanced automation. Last year, we announced our partnership with Nestle in the UK, who's one of our customers, where we are launching what we call the Warehouse of the Future. And in that warehouse, we automated every portion of that operation and how we intake pallets, how we sort them, how we retrieve them, how we have robotic arms building co-pack pallets that go to stores or distribution facilities. And I get incredibly excited to think about the potential for advanced automation and robotics in warehouses and how we can help make these operations more efficient as well.
Mario, I could go all day. I get smarter every time we talk. I want to say thank you to Mario Harik, who is the Chief Information Officer at XPO, for providing this incredible fireside chat keynote. Thank you for your time. Thank you for, again, the infectious enthusiasm that you bring to delivering your customer value through the technology XPO provides. Thank you, Mario. It was wonderful to see you, my friend.
Thanks so much, George. Good seeing you again. Thanks for having us on.
Take good care. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the Global Trade Tech Virtual Conference.